All right, hello, this is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And when I record things on Microsoft Teams, you may or may not be aware of this if you've heard me say this before, but the share button is right next to the leave button. And there's a chance today, I didn't think I did, I never heard it or anything, but there's a chance when I tried clicking share this morning, I accidentally clicked leave. I don't know what happened. But I was in the middle. I had done two last projects today. They were both simple array lookups. One was a console project, and that's what I have on the screen right now, and the other one was a GUI project. I'm going to run this and then go back and kind of just talk to you about what is in there. So let's add 5 students. All right, so Mark King, who got a 78. Mary Jones, and she got a 95. All right, Kent Clark, who got a 100. Let me make this a little smaller so it all shows on the screen. All right, Brad Bowling, who got, let's say, didn't do well, got a 55. And finally, Carly Smith, and she got a 70. All right, so you can see I've got 5 different first names, 5 different last names, and 5 different test scores. Okay, that's the first part. I hit enter and it says, hey, hit enter to continue. And what it's going to do is it's just going to spit back all that information at me. So you can see this is your student info. So there was student 1, there was student 2, there was student 3, there was student 4, and there was student 5. All right, and I don't know why I've got that much blank space in there, but I do. And hit enter again. Now I can search for things. Now, I'm not in there. So if I type in there, search for Jeff, it says the name Jeff was not found. All right, not a problem. Okay, but if I run it again, I should have put this in a loop or something, but I didn't. So, but if I run it again, now I'm going to have to put 5 names in again. So Bob, 33, Mike, 55, Mary, 88, Bill, 100, Ken, 77. All right, so there's that information I put in. But you'll notice that one of the names in there is Ken. So if I do go in there and I search for Ken, I can search. It's a case insensitive search, so it'll say the name Ken was found. So how did I do this? All right, as it says, it's a fairly simple array lookup program. We had what are referred to as parallel arrays in here. All right, and what parallel arrays mean is they're all the same size and they're all going to be manipulated using the same loop. All right, so as it says, you can search for the presence or absence of either a first name or a last name, the way this is set up. So here's my code. I had 3 program constants. All right, I had an integer array, num students. What is that? That's the number of students, literally, that I'm going to get, that I've been inputting. Then we've got something that was called there and not there. I was just kind of weird this morning. I don't know why. But there means was found. So for instance, if I put in there Ken, it'll say these, Ken was found. If I put in Barney, it'll say Barney was not found. So there is equivalent to was found, and not there is equivalent to was not found. I had 3 global arrays. I could have made these local and passed them from routine to routine, but I didn't. I made them global. All right, so there's a first name array of size 5, a last name array of size 5, and a stud grades. I don't like stud grades. I'm going to make that to stu grades. Stu grades. Okay. And of size 5. Okay. Now I'm going to get some errors in there, and I'll fix those later. I'll have to fix all those stud grades to stu grades. So what did I do? Inside of main, I call 3 different routines. One was input info, which did just that. It inputted those 5 student records. Then I call verify info, and all I did there was just to print out the information. Finally, I did the table lookup. All right, so let me change this again to stu grades. So what are we doing here? Enter the name of a student. Fine. I put the LCV plus 1 because now it's going to say enter name of student 1, enter name of student 2, enter name of student 3, enter name of student 4, and enter name of student 5. If I left those off, instead of going from 1 to 5, it would go from 0 to 4, which to me is a little more amateurish. Just by adding the plus 1 made it a little nicer. There is absolutely, I'm saying this again, there is no error checking on this program. I tried to make it short and sweet. So in other words, for the grade, when you put it in there, it's going to just attempt to convert it. And if I put something non-numeric in or I leave it blank, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to break the program. So again, all this does in here is it allows me to enter the 5 names, the 5 first names, the 5 last names, and the 5 grades. All right. Then I just put a write line in here that says hit any key to continue, and I did a read line. So that was input info. Nothing was passed in, so void is the return type. Then we had verify info, where I just spat it back out again. All right. So that's where I didn't need all those blank lines. So that's literally what this is doing. It is coming in here. That should be an N. I will leave that out, all of them out. Okay. And it'll say student 1, first name, Ken. Student 1, last name, Jones. Student 1, grade, 57. Then it'll do student 2, then student 3, etc. I think everybody gets that. All right. Then again, press enter to continue. So the only thing that's left then to talk about is this table lookup. So let's look at that. It's a little longer, probably longer than it should be for a method, but it's all right. So let me add a couple comments here. And after I do this, I will update the GitHub repo. So input 5 students, first name, last name, and grade. And I'm going to put it here just so grade not used, because it wasn't used in here. Okay. Then for the display, rather than input, display the first five, what did I put here? First students. So you wanted to input the 5 students, first name, last name, and grade. All right, probably should pluralize that. And then I wanted to display the 5 students, first names, last names, and grades. Doesn't make any sense here. All right. And then finally, we want to do the lookup. This was, again, a very generically, very simplistically written program. All right, so do a table lookup. It's not really a table, based on either student, first name, or student last name. So that's this table lookup that's right here, okay? All right. So I've got here bool found. This, again, what is this? It's a flag, if true, there was a match. This will be the name to search for. And this, well, as it says, it'll be the status. So it'll say name found or name not found. Okay, so that's what this is doing. Clear the screen. I could have really set Boolean to false up here, but I just put it down here. So we're initializing. We're assuming that you put in a name that wasn't there. So we're assuming name not in table. So we come in here and we ask you for a name to search for. All right? And you put it in. Now again, I wanted to make sure that if the name I put in is Jeff, lowercase Jeff, but yet maybe I've got the caps lock key on or whatever, but when I search for it, if I search for uppercase Jeff, it still finds it. All right. So what are we doing here? We are looping through each array. If the name is found, set the found flag to true. Then break out of loop, because there's no sense in going on. You found it. All right. So in other words, if this is the case, name found in first names array, if that's the case. And if it finds it here, then the name was found in the last names array. All right. So if found, we want to add onto there, add was found message or constant. And if it wasn't, we want to add the was not found constant. All right, then we write that out. So the name right here, that name is whatever name we entered up here. All right, that status is going to say either was found or was not found. Okay, so running it one last time, and I've tried to comment it up a little bit more than I had. So let's do a file, save all here, and let's run it one last time. All right. Mike King got 100. Whoops, 100. Mary Clark got a 90. Jennifer Jones got an 80. All right. Bill Brown got a 70. And finally, King, did I say King already? Nope, yeah, I did. Ken Black got a 60. So you can see we've got 5 different first names. Mike, Mary, Jennifer, Brown, or I'm sorry, Mike, Mary, Jennifer, Bill, and Ken. We've got 5 different last names. King, Clark, Jones, Brown, and Black. And we've even got 5 different grades, even though we're not using the grades in this program. 100, 90, 80, 70, and 60. So I hit enter. And it says hit enter to continue. That is the end of the input info. All right, then we've got this. All right, I guess I should have added some of those back in here. So let's see, because that is really, really bad. So let's see. And I know I've got to run it again, but I'd rather do that. So let's see, here we've got, yeah, we want this between each student. That was my fault for the verify info. Okay, so let's do it again fast, because I want to get on to the other program. So, Mike Brown, 70. Mary Green, 60. Otto, why Otto, but Black, 88. Ken, Clark, 55. Jenny, Jones, 22. There's all my information. Again, 5 different first names, last names. I did some screwing up with the caseness. It's no biggie. So there's the info. I still have too many blank lines here, but I'll get rid of that in a minute. All right. But there's the information. So now when I hit enter again, I can check. Let's check for something we know that's there. So let's look for Otto. So I'll put in Otto, even though it was put in with a capital O and a little TTO, let's make it all capitalized. And it says the name Otto was found. All right, that's the first one. So here where it says this is the student info, I don't know why. I guess there are 3 blank lines there, so I don't need this one at all. Make it a little better. Okay. In fact, let's do this. When we get done writing this, put in 1 blank line here. There, that should look fairly nicely formatted now. All right, so let's go to the other one. All right, so File, Save all, and I'm going to close this one and bring the other one up. So let me close this. And then we'll bring up the array lookup GUI. Okay, here it is. Very simplistic interface. Let's run it. I have hard-coded data into this, so I can run it and try a couple things. Oops. Have to, of course, change to my project. Now, you might look at this and go, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. You know what? You're probably right. I literally wrote these on the fly, and this has got a drop-down list, which we're going to be getting into more in future lessons. Now, notice even if I put something in here, whoops, try that again. Well, if I put garbage in here, it comes back and it says, you must enter an array to search because there isn't one entered. All right. If I click select array, there still isn't one entered. Okay, so there's no array. But if I come down here and I choose grades, now if I leave this blank, it breaks. Well, I guess I should have made a check in there for it being empty, and I didn't. But there's really, all we have in here is this convert. Okay, again, like I said, not very much error handling in here. You could say almost none. But if I come through here and I'll do it again, grades, and I'll put in 100. I believe there was somebody with 100. And it says the value 100 was found in the array. If we clear it, choose grades again, and I'll choose in here a 1, which I don't think was in there. The value 1 was not found in the array. All right, if I try it again, and I check for a last name, all right, and I put in King, I don't know. King was not found in the array. I don't know if I'm in there or not. I really don't remember. Scott was not found in there either. So what else do we have? We've got, there is a King in there. I don't know why I didn't find it, but let's check that again. King. Well, there's a problem with the program. It says the King was not found in the array. That isn't good. So I'll have to check that, and I will. Let's try first name and see if it finds it. Still doesn't find it. All right, so let's try first name with Jeff. Jeff was found. Is there a Jeff in there? Yes, right there. Now there's a West in here, so maybe when I did some copy and pasting, I screwed up. It sure wouldn't be the first time. All right, so this is going to be the search string. This is used for a first name and a last name search. This is grade string. So this is used for a grade search. All right. This is literally that. Value found or not found. as the case may be. All right, so again, I pre-populated these arrays. Okay, I did this time add a minimum grade, a maximum grade, and instead of calling it there and not there, I called it was and was not. Don't ask me why. I did this in class while we were going on. All right, so when you click the button here, the clear here, what does it do? It clears this, it clears this. Right here, it sets it back again, so it says enter array. And whatever you put in here in this drop-down list, it has a selected index starting with 0. So 0, when you run this, that's 0, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. All right? So what am I doing here? When I call clear and set focus, move that down. That's a little better. All right, so when I call clear and set focus, what am I doing? I'm again setting the selected index to 0, which is select array. I am blanking out or removing everything from the text box. I'm moving everything from the label at the bottom, and I'm setting the search again to the combo box. All right, I'm not going to go over exit because it's the same stuff we've been using all semester. I did come in here and put in a thing for my load event where I just wanted to make sure that when the program starts to run, the selected index again is set to 0, meaning that it is set to select array. This is, I oftentimes do this, and I'm sure you've seen this if you've watched enough of my videos. This is allowing us to write our customized message with a message box. So when we write this, we pass in a message, which is a string. We pass in a title, which is a string. We just do a message box with an OK and an error. All right. All right. So when we look at what else is in here, I have now gone through the exit button, the clear button, but not the search. So let's do that. So if you click the search button, it comes in, it says perform the search. Okay. So what are we doing in here? Well, I'm doing a switch, and I want to do it based on this. And as I mentioned in the tape, which may or may not be still on the tape, I don't know, that rather than calling it and putting that inside of here for the search, which I could have done, I just gave it a smaller name. So it's kind of an alias. All right, if it was a 0 or a 1, if it was one of these two things, 0 means that it says select array. -1 means it's literally empty. So we removed everything from it. So if either one of those are what happened, all right, if either one of those are what happened, it's either empty or it says select array. We just do our show message that says you must enter a name to search, or an array to search, I should say. No array name chosen. There's nothing to clear out or anything, so I just reset the focus right here. If they enter a 1, what they chose was the combo box entry for first name. So I say found, which again is a Boolean. It's equal to string search, and I pass in the first names array. All right. And then I display the results. Now, if it's a 2, it's the last names. So I call string search, and I pass in last names. And again, display the results. And pass in found, which again is either true or false, and my search string. Okay? And then I break in both of those. If it's a 3, that means I use the last one, which is the grades array. All right? So I pass that array in to a thing called grade search. Now I could have written different routines here and here, but I wrote the same routine and just passed 2 different things in, depending on which one I'm using. All right? And this display results is expecting a string. So rather than passing in grade str, and I don't remember what that was. I guess it already is a string. So grade str, I actually don't need this toString anymore. And it should still work. If for some reason, this should never ever be hit, but if for some reason it is, I'm just going to say you must enter an array to search, no name chosen. All right, and that's, basically the same kind of thing. I'm going to even change that to bad option and have it say this should never be hit. Because it shouldn't. All right. So there's two different methods or functions to talk about. Let's talk about both of them. All right. The first one is string search. So again, this function handles first name array and, hopefully at least, and last name array. Okay, so it handles first name array and last name array searches. Okay, all right. So we've got our return value. I oftentimes do this. So I'm setting our search string, what we're looking for, to what's equal in the text box. If there's nothing there, I print out a custom error message. You must enter a value to search for, no search value inputted. There's nothing to blank out, so I just set the focus back to the text box and I return retval, which was false. All right. Otherwise, I'm going to jump through here. Here's the problem. There's my error. So this says S. This should have said S, not first names. There was an error in my code. Wow, what a surprise. All right. So here I'm going to loop through. Here I'll put this down. Check for blank input. All right, and here I'm going to loop through the array. And it's either the first names or it's the last names, depending on what I passed in. All right. If a match is found, set retval to true and break out of loop. If the entire array has been searched and no match was found, set retval, or kind of, for lack of better words, keep retval false, which is its initial value. All right. Finally, return retval. All right, so that's everything. So again, that should have been S to begin with, and unfortunately I put it in as first names. No excuse, I just did. So if you find a match, set retval to true and break out of here. If you get all the way through and it's not in there, retval won't have been changed to true, so it will still be false, which is what we set it to initially, and you will return false. Grade search works basically the same way. All right, now when we are working with grade search, again, I'm just assuming here that the value we put in can be converted. So I did convert it because this is what's in the text box is text. So I made a thing, there's grade str, I made one called grade int, where I'm attempting to convert it. All right, so let's put all that in there. So let's set grade str to value in text box. Convert grade str to an int. Make range check. All right. If grade inputted out of range, what does that mean? That means less than 0 or greater than 100. That's what this test is doing. Print out error message. Clear out text box. Set focus to text box. And return retval, which we had originally set to false. Right there. All right, so if we get down to here, there was a value in the text box. So again, we will loop through the array looking for a match. Just like before. If a match is found, in fact, let's just grab the same darn comment from before. I'm going to grab everything and then I'm going to make a little bit of changes to it. All right, so loop through the array. This time it's grades. If a match is found, set retval to true and break out of the loop. If the entire array has been searched and no match is found, keep retval false, which was its initial value. Finally, return retval. Exact same thing that we did before. Display the results as, whatever name was found, whatever name was not found, whatever grade was found, or whatever grade was not found. All right, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Clear and set focus, nothing new here. We already talked about it. We already talked about the exit button. All right, so here, assure that combo box, if that's really a combo box or a drop-down list, whatever. We're going to say we're going to assure that it is set to select array when program run begins. Okay, so let's run it one more time, make sure I didn't break anything. And it should actually work better now, because now if I go to last name, there was somebody in there with a last name of King. Said there were found. Before it said there wasn't. Now if I go to first name for King, it should say it's not found. All right. I think there was a Mike in the first name. Maybe I'm wrong. Nope. What else was there in the first name? Let's look. There was a Jeff. All right. So Jeff for first name was found, but if I go and move Jeff to last name, it was not found. That's an improvement from what I had in here earlier. All right. And finally for grades. Okay, so if I do grades and I put in 100, the grade 100 was found, but if I put in a 10, the grade 10 was not found. If I try to change that to select array with something in here, all right, it says that no name was chosen. Probably should have made sure that was clear too. It's fine the way it is. All right, so this was a little longer But hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully it makes a little bit of sense to you. All right, I am going to come in here and do a file, save all, just so you can watch me here. I am going to, now everything should be saved in here. I'm going to close this. I am going to go back into here, into my array examples, and I'm going to bring a git bash here. And I'm going to do my, like we always do, I don't need to do an init. I can do a git status if I want. And it shows a bunch of red, which means a bunch of stuff in here has changed. So I'll do my git add dot. All right, now if I do a git status, those things will be green, and it tells me I got a lot of stuff that I've got to change. Okay, so I will say git commit -m, and I'll say made changes to lookup programs. Okay, and I'll even put 3:35 p.m. 9/22/2022. Okay, there's my commit, and I'll do my git push -u origin. Since mine here says master, it's kind of hard to see because it's broken up, but I've got MA there and I've got STER there, so it's origin master. It should spin. There, it's got it done. So let me clear and oops, just let me exit. It's fine. I will go back to my GitHub repo, which is not there, but it will be here. So github.com. All right, I will bring back up, where is it? Jump to, find a repository. It was array examples. There it is. Whoops. There it is. And if I bring that up, 1 minute ago, it was just changed. All right. Okay. Hopefully you got something out of that. I will save this. I will produce this and put this fix out there later tonight. Thank you.